All right, guys. So day 4, working in sublimation. Yesterday we printed our sublimation mouse pads. Today we're going to work on our car coaster designs. We probably won't get into too much of the packaging today, but we are going to be using a different program, and we're going to use Adobe Illustrator. So just as a reminder, if you don't know how to get to that, you're going to click the 4 squares down here, go under All Apps, and then you will click on Adobe Illustrator here. Now you can see this is the example, right? The car coasters we have. Sorry, y'all. The car coasters we have are these right here, okay? So these are 2.75 or 2 3/4 inches wide by tall, all right? And then we actually have this little gap here, and I'm gonna show you guys how we create the shape like this and add our own image in there. All right, before we do that, there's a couple of things just to kind of review we do want to go over, and that's going to be the difference between raster images and vectorized images. So if it's rasterized, it's going to be like this, right? If we go back and forth, we'll be able to see, all right, we have this one has been vectorized, and this one's still a raster image. So the main thing we'll notice is I hit Control Plus to zoom in. The more and more I zoom in, you can see like this dog's face, you can start to see those individual squares here, all right? That's how a rasterized image is. You're going to be able to zoom in and see those pixels. So now I'm going to zoom back out, okay? And on a image that has been turned into a vector, all right, it has created paths. Therefore, it's all going to be grouped in together. Everything within that path is generally one color, and you can blow it up as big or as small as you want, okay? Without losing or without seeing those pixelization. So what that's going to look like is if we zoom in here, you can see it's kind of poor with the lab here. We zoom out, you don't see that white space in the middle. But like the best one I'd say is, for example, this dog right here. As we zoom in, it doesn't matter how close I get, all right, you can see that there has been a path there that has been created, all right, and it actually won't let me zoom in any further. Oh yeah, well, okay. So you can see that is the difference. All right, vector, path, rasterized pixels. Okay, and that's going to be important. And I'm going to actually show you guys really quick how to do that. So let's just say we want a picture of a turkey, and we're worried if it's poor quality. That we want to, but we want to create a picture out of it. Let's do one kind of like this one's cool. You should be able to get some picture. All right. And actually, we'll do this. Just you guys normally won't want to do this, but let's do a small size. That means it's going to be probably worse quality. All right. And let's just say we like one of these images. Let's see, right here. All right. I want to save my image as, like, I want to put this on my coaster, and I want to name it Turkey. I did this earlier, so Turkey 2. Okay, so Turkey 2 just got saved, and to add that in there, I'm going to just use it on here. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to open up my folder. I'm going to go to my downloads, and I found Turkey 2. Whoops. I'm just going to drag and drop it in here. Now you can see, all right, it'll probably work, but it's a little granulated as it is. And now, obviously, it's very pixelized. Okay, now if we're doing this, it's not going to make it a higher quality image. It just creates it to where if we go to blow it up, it's not going to get any worse, and it generally turns it cartoony. So what you're going to do here on the side, you have this option called image trace. Now if we do 3 colors, you can see that's one option. All right, we can bump it up, and let's just say we want to do black and white. Not very good there. But if I were to do this one, I would do like a high fidelity. It's going to try to keep as much of it as it can. Okay. Now you can kind of see how it groups together. Depending on the quality that you start with, depends on how good it can go, and like what your outcome will be. So that's the easiest way to kind of do that if you want to have something like that. Now here we go, and let's talk about how we actually get our car coaster today. So I'm going to start. This is where we're going to end up, and I'm going to show you how we get there. Let's start at where everybody's going to be. All right, so we're going to, first of all, we're going to click New File. Go ahead and name it Car Coasters, okay, anything like that. And leave it at 8.5 by 11, but make sure your color code is CMYK, and make sure your orientation is vertical, straight up and down. Then click Create. Now, once we do that, the first thing we want to make sure we do is we're going to go under View, and we want to make sure our guides we're good, and we want to make sure we can see our rulers, all right, because that's going to be very important. Now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to zoom in I like being able to see. All right, I'm gonna go to this top corner. Now, as I mentioned before, all right, our car coaster is 2 3/4 inches wide. So I'm gonna just grab a ruler and I'm gonna bring it all the way over. There is 2.5, 2 3/4 guide right there. And I want to go ahead and bring one down. Now we're going to do this to kind of start off with. We're going to add 1 2 3/4 there. All right. And now I want to simply choose my shape. Over here we're creating a circle, so use the ellipse tool and just click. Pull it out to where you see the crosshair and just click once. And now you can type in 2.75, all right, by 2.75. All right, and that will give you your circle there. Now, if you can't see anything, go over to the side here and just click +1 on stroke. That just makes it easier for me. And then go ahead and line it up inside that area. All right, you can see how it lines up, snaps in, and now that is our coaster size. Now, if you want to go ahead and just be sure you're going to know what it looks like, you can follow this next step. Otherwise, you can continue on and just kind of be mindful that there is a 1-inch gap that comes in 1/4 inch. So if you don't want to do this next step, what you could also do is just pull this out to the 2.5 line mark. That gives us a 1/4 inch gap there. And then just know kind of like this section is going to have a semicircle taken out of it. Now, the next thing that you could do here is where what I did is you're going to add another circle. All right. Though this comes in 1/4 inch, there is a 1-inch gap here. Okay. So what we're going to do, we're just going to simply click, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to just make a 1-inch circle. All right. And now what I will do with that is we're going to drag that over. Once again, I can't see it, so I'm going to cut my stroke on. I got to make sure I have the middle, okay? So half of this 2 3/4, 1 2 3 4. All right, that means I'm going to come down to, all right, 1. And actually, we're going to do it from 2. So 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12. So bring this down 6 lines. There's 1 2 3 4 5 and 6. So just shy. And that's our middle point there. Now, if it helps you, go ahead and drag your next one. And so that indicates where the middle of this is. Now, just to make sure I can see, okay, that is roughly a good example of what this looks like, right? Looks backward because the camera flips it. Now all I want to do is I want to click in the middle of my line so I can get both of these circles. I want to click this button right here, and there we go. All right, simple enough, easy to do. Now what we do also want to make sure is that we stay to where we still have our 2.75 inches in width, and we're good. Now, what I encourage you to do so to allow for bleed is now I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to change this to about 3 inches. Okay. Now I do this. You don't have to if you trust it. I don't even think last time when I did it I went that much. I just did 2.85. All right. Give yourself 1/10 of an inch leeway, and that allows you to kind of do a little bit overbleed so that you don't worry about if you misline it that you're going to have a white edge showing on one side. So it's okay if you do that. That is up to you. Well, now that we've done that, we can go in here and we can go under view and we can just simply tell our guides we're going to hide them. Okay. And now all we got to do is find a picture. So let's go in here. I'm going to just use a picture I had earlier. I'm going to go in. All right. And let's open something up. Let's go to my downloads. I've already saved before. Let's say I want to do one for my mom's business. I'm going to pull her logo into one. Okay. Actually, probably not the best one to do. Let's just go with the crescent there. Sorry, y'all. Downloads button is jacking up. All right. So back in here to where we were. I'm going to use the crescent one here actually instead. And so I'm going to go under my downloads. That way you guys can see it a little bit better. I'm going to drag and drop it in. And obviously this is way huge, right? So I'm going to hit Command minus, zoom out here. And what I want to do here is I want to go ahead first of all and kind of hold the shift key and shrink it down, all right, about the size I think I want it to be. And now with it over it, right, all I want to do is I want to click on the image with it being on top. I want to click object, all right, and then with that, I'm going to click that clipping mask and then make. All right. And my bad, I'm going to send it to the back first. So arrange, send it back. You can see that there. All right. Choose that. Choose them both. Object, create clipping mask, make, and there we go. All right, with them both selected, once more, object, clipping mask, make. Now here's the thing, all right, now it's there, it didn't get rid of anything, so what we can actually do is double click, and this allows us to move our image around. It would also allow us, if we need to make it larger, if this is what we wanted to focus on, shrink it down, either which way we need to go there. Now remember to keep it proportional. You want to hold that shift key, all right, and move it around as is. All right, we got that guy in there that we'd have to use Photoshop right here to get out, but either way, that is what it finishes out as. Okay, now that that's done, we have our first car coaster. You will simply click File, Save As, save it as an Adobe Illustrator file, and upload it. You guys only have to make one of these today, all right? That way everybody has an opportunity, and then you guys will have a chance to, if you want to make another car coaster for later, you can do that with your project for our unit project, okay? Make sure you upload that file. I'm going to add everybody's to one page so we're not just wasting this transfer paper, and then cut them out, and you guys should know the sublimation process now to finish these up. All right, that's all we got.